difficult to understand that each animal values his or her life as much as you value yours. You have no right to harm somebody else in the process of harming yourself, so I am the ethics police. And vegans will defend animals from you until this massacre stops.
What's up? It's been quite a long time since I've made a video, mostly because I suck at making videos. But couple things happened this week that I really felt compelled to make a video and talk about. This week, Hellmann's announced that they were going to make a vegan mayonnaise. And then yesterday, Ben & Jerry's announced that they will be releasing their 4 vegan flavors. Well, they announced what the flavors were. Everybody knew they were making the flavors, but nobody knew what they were. They announced what the flavors were yesterday. And so, to the Hellmann's thing, this is just kind of funny because, you know, they spent all this time fighting with Hampton Creek over Just Mayo in the courts and the FDA and the collusion with the USDA and the Egg Board. And then I guess they finally said, well, shit, we can't beat them, let's join them. So Hellmann's is now going to make a vegan mayonnaise, which they gave some really stupidly ridiculous name like carefully crafted sandwich and something spread or whatever. So anyway, you got Hellmann's making vegan mayonnaise now, supposedly going to be available at the end of this month. And then yesterday, the bigger news was the Ben & Jerry's thing. And groups like Compassion Over Killing had been working for, no, I think it was actually Farm, had been working really hard with Ben & Jerry's to get them to come out with some vegan ice cream. Because Ben & Jerry's, people have grown up with that. It's a staple of their ridiculously crazy flavors of people's childhoods. So when it was announced last year that they were coming out, everybody was very excited. So yesterday the flavors were announced. And by and large, the vegan community, animal rights community was very excited. I mean, the big groups, all the big people, sanctuaries, everybody was celebrating this. And then you had this small minority of people who were actually unhappy about it. And they are unhappy about it because Ben & Jerry's is owned by Unilever. Unilever is a shitty company that exploits animals in every freaking possible way imaginable through testing and slaughter and dairy and blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, either these people don't understand or they don't want to understand how a capitalist society lives in, and they probably hate the fact that we live in a capitalist society. They think that one day everybody's going to wake up and go, oh, Jesus, we've been exploiting animals for so long, let's just stop it now. No, that is not going to happen. Unfortunately, as much as we all would love that to be reality, that is not the reality. The reality in a capitalist society is all about supply and demand and the bottom line for these corporations, because that is all they care about. They don't care about you, me, the animals, anybody, the planet, nothing. They just want their friggin' money. So, when Ben & Jerry's announces their 4 vegan flavors, people are excited. People are going to support them. And how it can enact change is by supporting them, buying their product, promoting their product, and that way there's a bigger demand for the vegan option than there is for the dairy option, because when they see that demand is high here and low here, well, they might cut back on that one and improve this one. That's how it works. That's how this works. That's how this is going to change, is by consumerism. A lot of people don't want to believe that, but that is how capitalism works. If you want these people to stop exploiting animals, you have to stop giving them the money to do it. So when they come out with a product that doesn't exploit animals, you unfortunately have to support them. Unilever is a shit company, a shit organization. They test on animals, they treat animals like shit, they exploit them as far as the eye can see. But this is huge. Not really huge. I mean, it's a big thing, I think, my opinion, that both Hellmann's and Ben & Jerry will now have vegan options. The Hellmann's thing is kind of cool because, not really cool, but kind of good because there might be somebody out in Timbuktu who doesn't have access to Just Mayo, VeganWashing, or Earth Balance unless they order it from like Amazon or something like that. They can't walk into a store and buy these things. Whereas Hellmann's is available just about everywhere. So there's a good possibility that you'll be able to walk into your local grocery store, whatever it is, and get this new Hellmann's vegan mayonnaise or the Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Now, nobody is of the illusion here that this is going to change and going to impact animals overnight. It's not going to. But continuing to increase the demand for these products will have an impact. I mean, like I said, it's all about the bottom line. They're dollar bills. When you support the products that are cruelty-free, animal-free, all that good stuff, and you spend that money and they see that, they will continue to pursue that. I mean, it's just a sign of the times. You know, every day there's more and more vegan products coming out. And as much as we would love to live in a world where everybody wakes up tomorrow and says, we're done exploiting animals now, it's just not going to happen. So it's a real shame that some of these groups are out there railing on and on and on about how this is vegan washing and blah, 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 blah. It's the way the world works. And, you know, they are doing their thing through their activism, what they do. Hey, good for them. If that helps, if that works, if that's what they want to do, good for them. But they have to understand that their interpretation of the world is not a reality. So you can go into stores, you can do your demonstrations, you can yell at people, you can tell people, you can educate people, but unless those people are going and buying the products that are being made, it's not going to make a bit of difference. And when they come up with this argument about, you know, well, don't support Ben & Jerry's and don't support Hellmann's because they're owned by Unilever. Well, that's kind of like saying don't go to your grocery store and go grocery store to grocery shop, Jesus. Because, you know, they sell meat, they sell animal exploitation there. But you got to go there to grocery shop to get the stuff that doesn't include that stuff, unless for some reason you have the ability to grow everything out in your backyard and you don't have to buy anything, which is pretty unrealistic. Almost everybody has to go to some kind of grocery store. And my particular self, I don't have like a great organic market or anything along those lines. I have to go to a Safeway. I have to go to an Acme. I have to go to what else is down here? Redner's, or we have a local little mom and pop shop, but you know, nothing huge. So I have to go to these places, and that's unfortunate. But when I go and I order and I buy the things there that are vegan, and you know they're making money off that, then they're going to keep stocking it and they're going to keep bringing it in. In fact, I just had a talk with one of the managers at Safeway, and he asked me to give him a list of all the vegan products that, you know, I would like the store to start carrying or would be interested in the store to start carrying. So if I can get people in this area that I know are vegan and you know, and I go there and support Safeway, then they might get these products in and they might carry more stuff. It's how society works in capitalism. It's not great, it's not perfect, half the time it's shitty. The people at the top get the most, people at the bottom get the less. But that's how it works. So if you want change, you have to support these places, as much as it sucks. Am I saying that personally I'm going to go out and buy this Hellmann stuff? No, because I have access to just Mayo. I'll buy that. Am I going to go out and buy Ben & Jerry's ice cream? Probably not. I might try the Chunky Monkey because that was my absolute favorite before I became vegan. But So Delicious and Silk and Tofutti and Coconut Bliss and all these other brands are available at my Safeway. So I'll go get those because those are primarily vegan companies, even though So Delicious and Silk are owned by a larger corporation which does own dairies as well. But So Delicious and Silk themselves are not so much Silk, but So Delicious is definitely considered, I guess, a vegan company. So I will continue to support those companies, but it's great that there are more options coming, that companies like Unilever, as shitty as they are, because they are shitty, realize that there is money in this particular, I guess, area, that they're going to start bringing products into this area, then that's a wonderful thing. And maybe one day, when that when that shift changes and there's more money up here to be made in those than there in the vegan stuff than there is in the the dairy stuff, then maybe some real change will happen. Dairy farms will start closing. There won't be massive forced impregnations of dairy cows. There won't be dairy cows sent to slaughter, turned into hamburger at 4 and 5 years old when they're spent. So it starts at the dollar and goes from there. So I'm not saying run out and support these companies all the time, but if these are your only options, then go out and try it. Support it every once in a while, because the money is what is going to make the change. The corporations, they don't care about us, they don't care about the animals, they just care about making their money. So unfortunately, it's kind of a double-edged sword. In as much as it's painful to say, at sometimes you do have to support these companies when they bring out options that are at least vegan, and they are making an effort to make more of a supply for people that choose to avoid the exploitation of animals. So you don't have to support them all the time, but give it a try and see what happens. But yeah, I just felt compelled to make this video because yesterday on Facebook I just saw people going on and on and on and on and on about how this is not good, it's not great, it's not good for the animals. And so yeah, capitalism is the way it is. Sorry that that's the reality of the world. It sucks for the animals, but slow change, I guess, is better than no change at all.
Don't you forget that humanity started this. We're the only ones who can stop this shit. It's time you realize that you have to quit. It's an evil industry and you're a part of it. Don't you forget that humanity started this. We're the only ones who can stop this shit. It's time you realize that you have to quit. It's an evil industry and you're a part of it. They have their liberty stolen, brutally hijacked.